Good, okay. Good evening. I'm going to call the meeting of the New London Select Board to order. It is August 23rd, 2023. We don't have any appointments, but I will take any comments from anyone who wants to say something about anything that's not on our agenda. John?
Yeah, I notice on the agenda you have the word priorities and police station is continually on there. I'd like to know, this is a plural question, not individual. What are your priorities? We know it's the police station. That's been very clear from last Friday, but I'd like to know what your other priorities are as a board.
As things come up, we'll put them on there. But right now, our main priority is the police station.
So there's no other priorities for the town that you feel are important?
Oh, there are lots of things, but I don't know whether I would say that it has to be on our agenda.
But surely there's more than one
Right.
that you're considering and looking at. I mean, such as workforce housing. Why don't we put workforce housing? It's very important to many people.
Well, it is, but there's a project going on behind this shopping center, as you may be aware.
I know.
And so that's being attended to. We have a housing commission. They haven't made any further recommendations other than to support Twin Pines. We're doing some testing on property we own on Little Sunapee Road.
Right.
Find out what we can use that for. So no, there are a number of things, but I don't know whether it's until we get some reports back and some recommendations from various committees. No, I wouldn't say there's anything that is as important.
There's no other priorities that could be added.
No.
John, I'll answer it slightly differently. I'm just quickly flipping through my notebook here. On June 21st, under priorities, we also had dispatch fees. Earlier in the spring, we had, I'm not going to flip through all the pages here. We had capital reserves. We have had we have and will have at our next meeting the issue of the wage study and what we're doing with wage for our employees. So there's at least four that if I flip through the pages here, I could find fairly quickly for you. But we've done with the capital reserves until we get through the budget process. We discussed the dispatch fees, and if you excuse the expression, I think dispatched with that item. And I think that we could have the wage study on here, but it happens to not be here tonight. But so there's four examples, and I could go back through my notes here and give you some more, and you can find them there.
I'm asking to add those to the list.
Well, they're here, but Joe, so if they're passed, you know, having capital reserves here is an interesting topic. We happen the way this town administrator puts together the agenda, she doesn't happen to list them all every time.
You mentioned are in there that are pending, so that we know what other priorities you have. The police department hasn't been approved. There's no land space. There's no study finished on that based on the definition you just gave me that has been already reported. Why can't we add those four then to it? There's plenty of space on this piece of paper. There's many individuals that don't attend these meetings, as you well know, but they may read the agenda and wonder, you know, what else do we have? So that's what I'm requesting.
I'll just speak up quickly. The way I look at this, I feel like this was a new addition to the agenda. If I remember correctly, we talked a couple months ago, we each gave a list of 3 or 4 items, and we came up with a big giant list and sort of said, let's try to focus on 1 or 2 of these at every meeting. I think that whole list that we all came up with at the beginning is always in the back of our head. But I totally appreciate what you're saying, John. And yeah, I'd like to see a few more of these priorities listed on each agenda as well. But I think our focus has been recently on the police station, especially getting prepped for that summer gathering meeting that we had the other day. And hopefully we'll go back and visit some of the others. But like Bill said, we've already knocked off a couple from the giant list that we started with. So hopefully that answers. I totally get your point. Yep. Okay.
Okay, moving on. With regard to old business, does anyone?
Janet, I think Joe is here because of something. Are you here because of this conversation we had last night?
Not particularly.
Oh, okay. No, but I didn't want, if that was why you were here, I didn't want you to go all the way through the meeting and then say, why didn't Bill? Oh, goodbye. Okay, thank you.
So would you like to make a comment about the summer gathering and any thoughts you have about doing this again? BB?
Yep, I thought it went very well. I reflected back on it and had some thoughts about, sort of how well attended it was. It was a good tone. I thought everybody had some really great comments and input, and I think doing it twice a year, as somebody suggested, would be great. Perhaps the next one right before the March town meeting to try to go over any warrant articles that may be on the agenda. So I thought it was, thank you to Kim and everybody for putting it all together, and all of the department heads for being there. And really, I thought it was a great positive experience.
Okay, Bill?
Absolutely, it was a positive experience, and the feedback we've gotten has been positive too. I have to, went back and tried to, I was taking notes when I wasn't talking. And it seems to me one of the interesting things about what we're calling the police station is how much of the discussion was really about dispatch and communications and technology. And maybe we're shortchanging what the real issues are when we don't focus enough on the dispatch. They're the people that are there every day. That's the service that we provide that's visible, everybody who picks up the phone and so on. And particularly the current facility is totally inadequate for that purpose. And as we touched on briefly, the security and safety issues around that service alone should be enough to cause us to realize that the existing location isn't satisfactory. So I would hope that our priority might actually be changed to the police and communications center, because the communications thing is really important, and came out that, and the chief's video focused heavily on those issues, and even on the external ones with the children running around outside where the police car is moving around and so on. I also came away, I've had several people speak to me in the last, whatever it's been, 9,600 and some odd hours, focusing, as we did ever so briefly, on the potential cost of this project to the individual taxpayer, as opposed to talking about the millions of dollars, resonated with people as getting closer to where they could appreciate what was going on. And then I guess last of all, I would say, rather than waiting until just before town meeting, when basically everything we're going to do at town meeting is wrapped up, I would suggest that we try to do another meeting before the end of the calendar year, so that we can talk about where the budget is in the process, where we are in terms of the police and communications center. And I looked at the college's calendar, and they close their dorms on Thursday, December 14th. And I would just put out there for discussion whether or not Friday morning, December 15th, 2 weeks before Christmas, might be a time when we could actually use the college's facility again. We certainly can't do it while the students are there, but overall, that's great. I think we need to set some expectations and timeline for talking about sites. I have written down, from what people have talked to me, 8 different suggestions that people have made. So there we are.
I've gotten numerous emails from individuals saying how appreciative they are that everyone that, knowledgeable that the select board is, and they really appreciated we talking about a number of items that they had questions about. And I agree that we should do it again. I'd like to see it before the end of the year, and December 15th sounds great. We'll probably have a better idea of budget issues and impact on taxes. So I think that would be an ideal time to do it. Kim, did you want to mention anything? Okay. All right. Anybody have any comments? Yep.
Thank you. Nancy Marascio, I'd like to see discussion about warrant items, proposed warrant items, if you do it at that time of year too. That way the public can have input before you finalize.
Okay. All right. Okay, is that it? All right, Bob has a suggestion for transfer station hours. Would you like to tell us about that?
Thank you. We're running into a situation right now where we're having difficulty getting applicants. We have 2 vacancies, 1 part-time, 1 full-time at the transfer station. We put 1 ad out. We're in the process of putting another round in 2 different avenues. So what I'm looking for is if we can change the hours temporarily, dropping Sundays. I know it's going to be a huge inconvenience for a lot of taxpayers, but we've already utilized taking people from highway, and it's putting a strain on my crew. And my concern is if I make them work Sundays as well, we could be faced with another shortage in a different department. I'd rather not get down that route. I'm looking for trying to get the positions filled. Thanks to Kim, she tried to beg, borrow, and steal from another town. I do have somebody interested. However, they're not on board with weekends. I'm hoping I can persuade them to at least Sunday. But that's up in the air for now. And I have actually, while I was at that facility, I did a little soliciting. There was another gentleman there that was looking for a job. So I gave him my card, and hopefully we'll hear from him, interview him, and see how good he is. But at this point, I don't have anybody for that position, and being short-staffed in both highway department, because we have 1 individual, I shifted his schedule to pick up a day over there. I'd like to try to do Sundays being closed temporarily.
Well, we know that's not going to be popular. Any comments, Bill?
I agree. That's not going to be popular. And the short term, Bob, it's the next 3 or 4 weeks when the heaviest, the remainder of the summer comes. And I'm just concerned. Is there some way, if we closed Sundays, that you could be open for a couple of hours on Monday morning for the public, so that the people who are leaving town can we have some compromise?
Yeah, we quite possibly could do that.
I understand the Sunday problem, but I'm trying to...
The issue is that's going to take 2 people out of Public Works. That's out of the highway division. That's about the only option, which puts me in a pickle, so to speak, as far as trying to get culverts done and ditching done before winter sets in. We can give it a go and see what happens. I know I'll have people that are upset that we're not working on roads, but
Well, I wasn't talking about a lot. I was thinking a couple of hours. You can't, the existing transfer station people wouldn't work on Mondays.
We could pay overtime to see if possibly they would.
I wasn't thinking of using the road
Yeah.
crews. I was thinking of getting the transfer station employees to come in for, Monday morning for a couple of hours, so that people who are leaving town can.
Yeah, because that would be the shift in schedule would be they'd have Sunday, Monday off. So it would be overtime if they're willing to do it.
I don't know. I don't have a solution. I understand
Yeah, I know.
your problem.
But like I said, if it's just for a couple hours, maybe we can shift some highway guys over there and hopefully help as much as we can. I know the phone is going to ring.
What do others think? Because, the next 3 or 4 weeks are the
I'm hoping to.
crucial time. Yeah, you're hoping too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just worried that if we close even temporarily, then we reopen. I mean, people get in the habit of knowing when the hours are. I think it's going to cause even more problems than we're even envisioning at this point. I don't know. What do you think, BB?
One of the things I would do is make sure we advertise like with a signboard. I know letting them know what's
Yeah.
going on. And maybe even flyers or something like that, along with the municipal matters and the web page. Obviously, there's going to be people that aren't happy,
Yeah.
but with the staffage shortages, my back is kind of to the wall on here. I'm just a little concerned what the future brings if I have to keep struggling to get my guys. I mean, I've got CJ over there right now, and he was gracious enough to pick up Saturday and shift his days off. So he doesn't work, I think it's Sunday, or he's working over there Sunday and Monday, I think it is. I mean, excuse me. He's working there Saturday, getting Sunday and Monday off. So that's the issue I'm looking at. I don't, if I squeeze him in another day, that doesn't give him any time off, and he has picked up overtime, but the crews, everybody from down there has actually put some time in over there.
Right, yeah.
Karen's worked probably, I think, about 4 weekends in a row, sometimes 2 days. I look at that, that's dedication, but how long can they do it?
Right, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think whatever we do, we have to advertise it, make sure that people understand
Correct.
that it's gonna be closed on Sunday. Are you
And-
suggesting that when do you suggest we start this?
I'm looking, I think we can get by for the next 2 weeks.
Okay,
So that gives us time to get it out there. And if for some strange reason, maybe things get corrected, maybe we don't have to do it. I don't know, but I
Okay.
think we should be prepared.
okay.
Do you have data? Do you know historically when the busiest times are for the transfer station and the?
Tuesdays are pretty busy. Actually, to be honest with you, we're slowing down a little bit right now, but we were running 3 trips with the municipal waste. We've cut back to 2 days again on that. So things have slowed down a little bit, but
Yeah.
Saturdays and Sundays are generally the same.
Yeah. How about time of year?
Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we're starting to get to the end of the year when
Right.
people start going back to school, but
Yeah.
you're still going to have a few that come up for the weekend.
Yeah.
If you can make it through Labor
Yeah,
Day weekend,
I
that would be
know.
really helpful, I think.
Yeah.
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 And that's the weekend, that would be the last weekend. And that was the game plan. If I could stretch it to that point, I did have, Kenny wanted to take a day off and he graciously bowed out and he's moved it, knowing what we're going through. So these guys are giving up just as much as they're given.
They're amazing.
Okay. Steve, did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, so Saturdays and Sundays, if they're about equal, that means they're relatively busy. So have you thought about a Wednesday so that Monday, Wednesday and Friday, it's closed? We're used to Monday and Friday. And if it's Wednesday, that's just, alternate days during the week, but give people the weekend. I don't know how different that would be for you, but of giving the full crew available to you on a midweek day to do some of the other projects you were just talking about, would that work better? Because those people who head out of town on Sunday after their weekend are not going to stick around for Monday morning. They're gone. And what they will is take their name off everything and leave it outside the fence. So just as a thought, I mean, today's a Wednesday. I don't know how busy it was. I went yesterday. I know I'm going tomorrow, and I'll probably be there on the weekend, but would that aid you better to have the full crew during the weekday than closing on a Sunday?
I did look at that, and the issue that kept coming back to me is if I have them work, so they have one day off, then they go to work again, and then later on in the week they get another day off, so they don't get a consecutive weekend. That kind of runs them down. I like the idea of giving them a break away, especially where there's just 2 full-timers there at this point. I'm just concerned that they're gonna get to the point where they've had enough. And another town's gonna beg, borrow, and steal, and then we're gonna be in a even worse pickle.
John, did you have a question?
Yeah, could we do a half day on Sunday?
Once again, that's a staffing issue. I've had a lot of my highway guys working there overtime to get through to this point. So once again, I'd have to have staffing for that.
How busy are Thursdays?
Busy enough. Tuesdays, Thursdays are pretty good days. It seems like it's the busiest is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Wednesday slowed down a little bit. Friday's a commercial day.
And how long would you want to close the Sundays? Until we hire 2 people, or?
If I can get an individual to work both Saturday and Sunday, it would be perfect. I can still supply one guy from highway to help get him through till we get another full timer. But that's the issue. Nobody wants to work weekends, let alone work.
Right, so if you don't find someone, then this closed Sunday could extend through the winter, or?
I'm hoping that these 2 people, the individuals, I've actually got a rumor that there's a third one from another town that wants to leave the town he's currently with. So out of these 3 applicants, I'm hoping I at least get 1 anyway, preferably 2. So I'm hoping it's going to be a very short, if we even have to do it at all.
Right, so if you hire one of these 3, then there's no issue.
Correct.
So are there other questions? I move that we give Bob Harrington the latitude to close on Sundays if he needs to.
Do I have a second for that?
Yeah, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
good luck, Bob.
Will's the one that, Will is going to be the one that gets all the phone calls, so I should be good.
Okay. Good luck.
They actually started today.
Really?
Yes.
About the transfer station?
Yep.
How do people know that we might?
Oh, my husband knew.
It's New London.
Okay.
I heard about it on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
We'll be getting some letters.
All right. Okay, so we got a memo from Waste Reduction Committee with regard to Wheelabrator Technologies. Do you want to talk about that, Kim, a little bit?
Yep, the Waste Reduction Committee toured Wheelabrator, and I don't know, Bill, did you go on that tour?
I did not.
And they are recommending that the selectmen kind of read their report and consider whether or not you might want to do business with Wheelabrator. I think the town may have done work with Wheelabrator many, many years ago. I don't know, Bob, if you were here then, when we used Wheelabrator.
So I discussed this briefly with Bob yesterday, I guess it wasn't, since he's here. I think the easiest answer is for him to explain the issues, why it sounds great, but there are some issues.
Yeah, what I was telling Bill on that, my thoughts were, and I saw this before with Wheelabrator. I was just the foreman then. What I noticed is the contract come up and everybody was scrambling to try to find a new place to go because the price went way up. And what we've seen in the past is you'll have somebody make a really good offer and to entice you to go there. And then once that contract goes up, you can't go back to where you were. Right now, I think we have a really good price. The place we're taking it right now, I believe I dug back to 2014 and the price didn't go up until just recently. And it really didn't go up that much. I was shocked. So my fear is if we go to Wheelabrator, they're going to make a good deal, but then the contract comes up, you will not be able to go back to where you were for the same price. That's gone. So I guess I'd tread carefully on that. Just keep that in the back of your mind.
All right.
Would I like to go to Wheelabrator? It's closer. You know, if we had to, I guess that's fine. It's up to the board and the people, I guess. But there will be a cost. I see an increase down the road. So.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions?
No.
So it seems to me we should wait on this a bit before we make any decision. And obviously, if the Waste Reduction Committee or you have recommendations, Bob, you know, we're certainly, we'd like to hear them. Okay. Okay. Next, we have a request from our fire chief for use of the police chief's former command vehicle. Jay, would you like to talk about this?
Sure. So when our captain was hired, Mike Matthew, who does our fire prevention and code compliance inspections, was hired. It's when we were transitioning from our current command vehicle. So I had requested from the Board of Fire Wards that we keep the old vehicle to see if it was possible and to determine a need of an additional support vehicle. We did a cost analysis, we looked at it, and it made sense at the time to give it a go. Nancy Rollins was our select board representative. So we talked this through with her as well. And so over the last 2.5 years that Mike has been with the New London Fire Department, the vehicle's been used pretty significantly, not only for day-to-day inspections, responses. Mike last year had gone out, I think I had submitted 154 inspections, and 87 times it was used for response. The nice thing about having an SUV or pickup truck, we've got our utility vehicle, is we're not necessarily running a larger piece of apparatus over the roads, especially to those sort of quote unquote non-emergency calls. So it's been beneficial from inspection perspective. It's been great from a training perspective. So if some of our members, we haven't had a local level 1 class or level 2 class, those individuals have used it to attend classes down at the New Hampshire Fire Academy. One of our former employees, Corey Bartlett, that fortunately just left us, he did his fire officer 1 and 2 class down at the academy. He used it. And we've also used the vehicle for general maintenance. So for instance, our ladder truck was up in just north of Burlington in Vermont. That's where the servicing is. And so when it goes, our ladder or any other apparatus goes for its annual servicing, that takes a vehicle out of the station as well. So our hope was that we'd be able to take our current Tahoe, that's a 2011, and switch it out with the Chief's Dodge Durango. It's 4 years older. It has right around 30,000 miles less. So newer, sorry. Our vehicle is 4 years older. Yes. Yeah, and increased mileage for obviously our older vehicle.
So you're not adding another vehicle? You're
No,
just
so what,
Great.
yeah, so what we'd do is we would then take, Bob has a gentleman that we've utilized in the past for auctioning vehicles off and seem to have done very, very well with various pieces of equipment throughout the town. And so our recommendation or suggestion would be to swap out the police chief's old SUV for our current inspector's vehicle. And by doing this, it's sort of a stopgap instead of us, because it's worked very, very well, so much so that we were contemplating what to do to replace it and going through the reserve account and making that recommendation to the Board of Fire Wards and ultimately the Select Board and Budget Committee. But as a stopgap, this is a great opportunity for us not to have to request those funds at this time. But in the future, that's where we would go to.
Would this vehicle have to be repainted for the fire department?
We probably would not repaint it in an effort to save cost. So we're fortunate to have one of our lieutenants that's able to do some light installations as far as changing out lighting. Our recommendation would be at least to have some sort of identification on the door seal or maybe some reflective striping to indicate that this is an emergency service vehicle. So no different than when the assessor's going around. We want people to know who we are. So we're not, sort of quote unquote undercover at the fire department. We want people to see us. And I think it's important for when Captain Matthew shows up for an inspection that the property owner knows that it is a official authorized vehicle at the work site.
But it's not going from blue to red.
That is correct.
I had that question too.
So I think this is just a process question. I'm in favor of doing this. But in reality, what's happened is that we had two vehicles in the budget process over a few years that we said we were going to dispose of, and we're only ending up disposing of one vehicle. So we did not, in a timely fashion, deal with that. It makes sense, but we just didn't deal with it because what the first vehicle that's being talked about was supposed to be sold also.
Right.
Now this one's supposed to be being sold, and I think just in terms of clarity, the process didn't work very well. But it's a good decision to make.
Okay. BB, did you?
No.
Okay, so Kim, do you have any comments? No. So does anyone have any suggestions, comments?
John does.
What's the mileage, one that you're taking over?
John Ellis's question was, what is the mileage? Our current vehicle is a 2011 Chevy Tahoe that has, and this was written on July 20th. My apologies for not getting the updated mileage. 105,609. And the 2015 Dodge Durango that was the police chief's primary vehicle has 75,244. So there's a 30,000 mile difference, 4-year newer.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to support the chief's request for swapping out the police vehicle for the fire vehicle? I guess basically that's what we're doing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We're good. All right, we have to decide on future meeting dates.
Yeah, in October, I'm gonna be away a couple times.
Okay.
So I let Kim know and she thought if we wanted to swap things around. So usually I think we are the second and the fourth Thursdays of the month.
Right, so
Is
I
that-
think the 12th you have a
The 12th I'll
conflict.
be out of town. So I could do the week
We could
before.
do either the 5th or Columbus Day is not a town holiday, but I don't know if we could meet on a Monday that week instead, if you want to meet on Columbus Day. Or you could meet the week before, or you could
Wait a minute, I
meet with
gotta
just two of you.
I'm out
Lots of options.
I'm away the 10th through the 13th and then again the 16th to the 25th. So I could be
Right.
here the October 5th, but we're meeting the week before that, so that might not. And I could meet and I'll be here on the 26th. Or you can have a meeting without me. It's, up to you guys if you want to keep it the way it is, and I just won't be here on the 12th.
Okay, what does everybody want to do? You want to meet on the 5th, Bill? Okay, so we'll meet 2 weeks in a row.
Okay,
All right, and then
Skip a couple of weeks.
and then skip a couple of weeks.
and then meet on the 26th. Okay,
Right,
so 5th.
and we'll meet at 5:30 at
26th.
Whipple, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
and we'll be at Whipple there. Okay, and then if we will go into November 9th and then the 23rd. Is that,
That's Thanksgiving. We
I
don't
was
want to
gonna
meet
say,
there.
yeah,
Columbus Day is
so-
one thing, but not Thanksgiving.
no, so do you want to do so what do you guys want to do for November? I like booking out on my calendar as much as I can.
You got the 9th, so obviously we're not gonna do the 23rd,
You could do the 30th.
30th.
Okay,
which is fine.
30th, yeah, because because there's 5 Thursdays.
Yeah.
Okay, so 9th and the 23rd, perfect.
14th of December.
Yep.
Usually we do one in December, right?
Yeah,
14th and 28th.
okay, so, okay, the 9th.
9th and the 30th of
Well,
November.
if we can schedule another town meeting, we may want to, not town gathering, we may
We
want
do it
to
on the 15th.
have another preparation meeting too, so.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
14th would be the night before it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, excellent.
Okay, so the 9th, I'm back in November, hang on.
9th and the 30th in November.
Well, right now,
Thanks.
the 14th and 28th, and the 15th is possible townwide meeting. Which we'll have to think of a new.
Thank
name,
you.
just maybe some of that one.
All right, then we'll go from there, all right.
So December, we have the 14th and 28th and potential scheduling of a planning meeting, because we probably won't want to
Right,
plan
yeah.
the night before the meeting.
Yeah.
We can,
Yep,
I think it'd be helpful, Kim, if right away you could see if the college will let us
Mhm.
use their facility. That would.
Mhm.
Given the
what day
weather,
did you say they leave?
the dorms close on the 14th,
Okay,
so it would make sense unless they're having a, faculty party or something.
Mhm.
But probably not at breakfast. Incidentally, the food was we didn't mention that when we started, the food was very well received. It was all gone by the time we
I
got.
think we'll have to, up our game for the next one though in December though, because people really did like the food and it was all gone. Usually you have a load left over.
Well, that's what I said. By the time I got off the platform, there was no food left.
Yeah,
that's good.
and I didn't even see any staff eating it, so it wasn't staff eating it. Hey, we didn't touch it. Nancy wants to say something.
John, did you want to say something? Oh, Nancy?
Would you explain why you've moved from Wednesdays to Thursdays, please?
Well, we didn't,
That wasn't permanent. That wasn't permanent. It was just for the summer because I had a commitment for Thursdays and now we're going to go back to the Thursdays.
Also, Nancy, pretty quickly, Wednesday night is budget committee night.
Yeah.
So BB can only be
I'll
in
be
one
doing-
place at a time.
Yeah,
we try to meet when everybody can do it. That's basically the answer, so. That's what.
being selfish.
Well. Okay, Kim, do you have a town administrator's report?
Yes, so as we already discussed, I think the summer gathering went very well. We in the office are working on getting a Survey Monkey survey out to the wider community. We did have 42 responses, and I think the chief said, what, we had about 140 people there, give or take, so 150. So clearly, there were many people who had to leave and couldn't fill out the form, so we are working on that. We will put a link to Municipal Matters once we get that out as well. So hopefully we can get more responses for that. Things are going well in the Selectmen's office. We have people on vacations coming and going. So pretty soon we'll be gearing up for budgets. The departments have met with their budget committee subcommittees to get information. They haven't met with administration. We have the most people in our department to actually get in the same room at the same time. So hopefully we'll meet with our budget folks after Labor Day. That's about all I have.
So Bill, do you have any meetings? Phoebe?
yep. I've been busy.
Good.
Let's see, I attended the Messer Pond Protective Association meeting Saturday morning. That was really interesting. Great group of people that John Doyle, and they have a new president and her name is escaping me at the moment. I think it's Andrea, but regardless, they're such an active association. They've done so much work. down there. And then the couple days before, I attended the Conservation Commission meeting where John was presenting about the work they've been doing on invasive species and fixing culverts and working really closely with Bob and his department. They're so thrilled with all the work that your group has been doing. I told you that already, but and they pay forest acres, so they're excited to see how that is going to result in hopefully less chlorine and phosphorus in the pond. I mentioned the Conservation Committee meeting, which was great. I also attended yesterday over at LSPA, the UNH session about winter roads and how to treat the roads. I haven't had a chance to catch up. Bob and Mike were there as well. But it was interesting, but I think bottom line is every town is different. And there are different weather patterns and different elevations and different, but you know, I learned a lot yesterday. And that's it. And I have another Tri-Town watershed meeting on Friday.
Okay, thank you. We did have a fire wards meeting on Monday and talked about various matters. Jay talked about, you know, the issues they've had with regard to flood control, other calls they've assisted with. It was very interesting. And he said that the engine number 2 should be here sometime, maybe October, November. And that it will have a steel body. Is that correct?
Stainless steel.
Stainless steel. So that's good. And what else do we talk about? Talked about a lot of things, but mainly what the types of incidents that you've had to respond to. And fortunately, you were able to get people to help. There was a drowning incident and 2 of the firemen helped with that, and they did an excellent job. And it didn't result in death. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then we had there was a Recreation Commission meeting, and I went to that, and I thanked all of the commission members for their volunteerism. I mean, but I also said that I hope that they would find new people to be part of that committee and people who would be able to give some time to some of the events that take place. So they all do a great job, and they know that they need to find some new commissioners for them. So that was it. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of July 26th? Have you all read them?
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we talked about upcoming meetings, other business. Kim, did you want to?
Yep, so we have completed the MS1 form. That's a summary of inventory valuation. Chief Assessor Chris McAllister prepares that and sends it to the DRA each year. This is an important part of the tax rate setting process. So kudos to Chris for getting it done so early. So we'll get our tax rate hopefully in a timely manner. So we need the selectmen's approval to send it in.
Okay. I will note that the offices will be closed on Monday, September 4th for Labor Day. And a listing of all the various meetings will be on the town's website. So if there's,
Kim, do you need a motion?
Yeah, I need a motion on the MS1 and then
Okay.
I'll turn it over to Lynn to mention the MS 535, another state
So I
Department
move
of Revenue
we
document.
approve and sign the MS1 as presented to us.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And so Lynn, can you address the MS 535?
Absolutely. So I received today the MS 535 from our auditors. They were in very early this year. They were here the first week of August, just so that they could file this report. Not just so, but to help file this report. So that came down today. I was able to go through it and send it on to the DRA, but I need approval and signature from you guys. And basically, this is a summary of our expenses and revenues as they stood on June 30th of this year. So I'm just looking for that approval.
Okay.
I move we approve the MS 535 as presented by the finance officer.
Second, any comments, questions? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. So we have to approve our vouchers, our pay vouchers and permits. All right. Let's start that.
What were the dates, the October select meetings? I wasn't clear on that.
Once. October 5th and October 26th.